My name is Paul Luna, and you're tuned into F&B Lunacy. I am here today with Tuanni Price, owner of Zuri Wine Tasting. Tuanni, talk to us about Zuri Wine Tasting.
It's my baby. It's a lifestyle wine company where my motto is wine is complicated, I make tasting simple. So the whole goal is to make the tasting process, the tasting experience as simple as possible for people, because sometimes I think that people overcomplicate things. They just make it more serious than it needs to be. So since I've started my business, the mission has been to just make wine more simple.
Is there an inexpensive wine currently you can recommend to a wino?
You know what? That just depends on where you are, right? So I'm in South Africa. In South Africa, you get so much value for your money. I just tasted a wine that was under 100 Rand. It was 75 Rand, which equals about maybe $5 in the United States. And it was an amazing wine. And it was from a small producer. And it was an amazing wine. And it was 75 Rand, or it was like $5 US. It's called Her, by a group of Black women in South Africa who wanted to create this wine brand, to tell their story and to create a cycle of generational wealth for younger women who are coming behind them. And it was a great bottle of wine with a great story.
Would it be available in the States?
Working on that. It's not available just now. No, I'm working on that. If you're in the States and you want an inexpensive wine for, that's pretty accessible, that's easy to go, you can get to in the grocery store. One of my favorites is a sparkling wine called Humasera. It's a cava, and you can get that in any grocery store for about $7.
Do you favor a particular wine or region?
I do, actually. I do. My favorite regions in the whole world are, of course, South Africa, because that's where I'm living right now, and I get to experience all these different amazing, just wine farms, and they can be so diverse. Like South Africa is so diverse, from the texture, from the people, from the weather conditions. They have cool climates, they have warm climates. So I love South Africa. They have so many different soil types. South Africa is definitely one of my most favorite places to taste. And then, other than that, in America, California, of course, because I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, so I've grown up on California wines. My favorite region in California would be Santa Ynez, because they make the most amazing Syrahs and Viogniers. And Syrahs and Viogniers are like, that's my go-to, that's my heart.
Your take on red wine with meat or game and white wine with fish or seafood?
You know what? First of all, I always tell people, drink what you love and eat what you like, or vice versa. Eat what you like, or drink what you like and eat what you love. You know what I mean? I don't think you have to stay in the box. Of course, if I'm going to have a good, nice, full-bodied Syrah, my favorite thing to have would be like a leg of lamb. Like that would be my ultimate pairing: a leg of lamb and a nice glass of Syrah, full-bodied, big. Like Shiraz style Syrah, where it's peppery. You're gonna get the big plum fruit. And then if I had fish, of course, I'd have a Chenin Blanc, with the fish or the chicken. But you know what? I don't stick to those rules. Sometimes I break the rules. Like, for example, I love red wine, and I love Mexican food. And they say that you should not, I mean, who are the they people, but they say you shouldn't have high tannic wines with spicy foods. But you know what? I love very tannic wines with spicy foods, because I just feel like it's a party in my mouth.
How would you describe the taste or smell of a corked wine?
Oh, you know what? It's hard. It's hard. Unless that wine is totally corked and you open it up and it just smells like, this is going to sound crazy, but it smells like your boyfriend's sweaty old tennis shoes. Um, you know, sometimes it's so obvious, right? But then sometimes it's not obvious. And I do love that I've tasted enough wines that when I do smell like a subtle corkness, I can identify it. For example, I went to a really nice wine farm, one of the top wine farms in South Africa, and the person in the tasting room poured me the wine, and I was like, "This wine tastes a little off. I think it might be corked. Like, how long has it been open?" She's like, "We just opened the bottle," and I was like, "I think it's off." So she said she went to go check with somebody in the office, and she had them smell it, and she came back and she was like, "No, this wine is perfectly fine. No, I checked with somebody else who works here and it's great, and I wouldn't serve you a bad wine." And then the winemaker came out, because whenever I go tasting, the winemakers always come out to talk to me and to chat with me. I love tasting with winemakers. And the winemaker tasted the wine and he's like, "Tuanni, I'm so sorry, but you're right. This wine is corked. You know what? Let me get you a new bottle." And he opened up a new bottle, and you can tell the difference, because a wine that's not corked and it's a good wine, it'll have these fresh flavors. It's just like fresh aromas, Even if the wine is aged, you'll get some hint of freshness in the wine. When it's corked, it just tastes like, or it smells like, stale. It smells stale. I can't explain it. It's such a hard concept. But the wine just smells stale, like an old bag of potato chips. Stale.
Who was your inspiration?
Who was my inspiration for this whole wine life?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if I have an inspiration for when I first started. When I first started, my inspiration was random people drinking at fancy restaurants, because I worked at the St. Regis Hotel, and I would walk through the lobby and I would see people just like having this really great life, drinking wine, laughing, talking in the middle of the day. And I was like, I want that life. So that was my inspiration to start my business. I want that life. My inspiration to keep going in this business is my mentor. I call her my godmother, Iris Rideau, she used to own a wine farm in Santa Ynez, a beautiful wine farm that made award-winning wines. But she was definitely my inspiration to keep going in this business.
Can you explain to us what the following terms are in wines? Dry, buttery, and tannins.
Dry, buttery, tannins. Okay, so dry is going to be a wine that has 0 residual sugar, right? Now, you can have a wine that has a sensation of sweetness because it comes from the fruit flavor, but it has 0 residual sugar. And a lot of times people will confuse dry wines for sweet wines when they're fruit forward, right? But a dry wine just means that the wine has 0 residual sugar, or it's minuscule where you can't even measure it, with the naked eye. That's dry. So dry wines have no residual sugar. You said tannins. Tannins is a compound in wine that leaves your mouth feeling dry and bitter. I hate to explain it like that because I love tannins in wine. And whenever I explain it like that, it just feels like I'm cheating on the tannins, right? But tannins are important for red wine because tannins are the backbone for red wine. So it's what gives red wine its structure, its character, right? And tannins, you get the tannins from the skins, you get the tannins from the seeds. And that's why red wines have tannins. White wines don't usually have tannins because they don't usually stay in contact with the skin. Sorry, I start to nerd out, so I apologize. What was the third one?
Buttery.
Buttery. Okay, so buttery. Okay, so there's this thing called, there's this sour acid in wine. It's pretty much in all fruit. It's in grapes, right? So it's called mallow acid, right? And so what happens is when the wine is in the bottle after the fermentation or in the barrel after the fermentation, it automatically goes through this malolactic fermentation, right? Most wineries like to take control of that process themselves, and so they'll add a little bit of lactic acid to counteract the mallow acid, which is sour. The lactic acid is going to be the butteriness that you get, right? And so sometimes when somebody says, "Oh, this is overly mallow," that's because they might have a Chardonnay that's all you can taste. It's just like very buttery, like almost like movie popcorn butter. So that's the butteriness, but that comes from the malolactic fermentation process.
What unknown wines should we look out for?
All right, that's a hard one because like it can be unknown to you, but not unknown to like a lot of different people. And you know what? I really like small boutique wineries, right? So for example, in San Ynez, my favorite is this one called Demetria. And I don't know if you've heard of Demetria, but they specialize in Shiraz. They have a really great rosé that's made from Shiraz. And they do Viognier. And it's a small boutique winery. You have to drive up a little hill to get to it, and you sit on their lawn, and they usually have a guy playing a guitar and dogs running around, and it's amazing. The wines are amazing. The experience is amazing. In South Africa, what would be a small, gosh, there's so many of them in South Africa. Oh, there's this one that I tasted at recently, and they only make one wine. It's called Taibosh. And they make one wine, and it's a Bordeaux style blend, and it's just, they do a beautiful job of it. And it's historical, and the wines are delicious, and yeah.
Fill in the blank. Wine tasting is?
Wine tasting is important. Wine tasting is fun. Wine tasting is a lifestyle.
Is there anything of importance you would like to share with us?
Man, I would just like to share with people, the most important thing for me to share with people is don't be intimidated by wine. Like really just have fun with it, explore wine, explore different regions. You know, a lot of people can't travel right now because of our COVID situation, but travel through wine. Next time you're in the grocery store, just skip the usual that you get, go to a different region. You know, just travel through wine, experience life through wine.
This is one of the unusual questions now. What does playing with yourself mean to you?
What does play with yourself mean to you? Oh, gosh. Okay, that caught me off guard a little bit. But I would say, you know what? It's give yourself self-enjoyment. Like one of my favorite things to say is, you know what? I need some me time. I need some me time. That means sometimes I might disconnect from the internet, disconnect from friends and family, and just have some time just for myself, whether I'm taking a bath or whether I'm like reading a book or just trying a new wine. Me time, playtime is just me time. Yes.
What do you enjoy doing when you're not working?
Ooh, okay, so that's weird. So somebody asked me this question the other day, right? So, all right, my hobby is wine tasting. My work is wine tasting. So when I'm not working, I'm wine tasting.
Tuanni, do you sing in the shower?
Yes. Do I sing? Do I dance? Yes. That's my twerking time. That is Tuanni's twerking time. Okay, gosh. I'm sorry, you guys, but yes, that's Tuanni's twerking time.
This is also an off-the-wall question I like asking. Tuanni, do you consider yourself a lunatic?
I was just telling my social media manager that he was talking about a girl that he dated, and he was like, "Oh, but she's crazy," and I was like, "Oh, but you know, all women have a little bit of craziness in them." So yes, I'm a little bit of a lunatic. Yes, and proudly so. Proudly so. It's only the same people you have to worry about.